Hi everyone, this is Emmy, and I'm here today with allfreecrochet.com to bring you a video on crocheting. Today I'm going to show you how to do the ribbing stitch in crochet. You would need a ribbing stitch at the top of, for instance, mittens to make the cuff, or for socks, or gloves, or even sometimes for the band around a hat. And to do ribbing stitch in crochet, it's very much the same as making single crochets, except that you always work in only one loop of the stitch. Sometimes it's called one side of the stitch, other times it may be called one loop of the stitch. But normally in crocheting, you crochet through this little hole underneath the two loops at the top of your stitch. Every stitch in crochet, when it's viewed from the top, has two sides, and when you're making ribbing stitch, rather than working under both loops, which is the way you would normally do a single crochet, to do ribbing stitch you will only work in the back side of the stitch, so only in the back loop of the stitch where you will make your single crochet. Okay, so let's get started. To begin in crochet, you always start with a slip knot. Make a circle, bring the yarn through, and then tighten up your loop, and that's a slip knot. So I'm going to make some ribbing, and I'm going to just do it with 10 stitches. Okay, so we always skip the first stitch, and we're going to single crochet in the second stitch from the hook. And then we're going to single crochet in each stitch across our chain. And that's the same as, there's nothing different in that. It's the same as you would do in any foundation chain where you single crochet across your foundation chain. Okay, so now that I'm at the end of the row, I'm going to chain one and turn. And this is where the difference happens. Now in crochet, every stitch when viewed from the top has two loops. And to do a ribbing stitch, you're only going to work in the back side of the loop, which is here. So you never start working in the first stitch, always in the second. I'm going to insert my hook only in the back side of the stitch, and I'm going to make my single crochet. So I'm going to repeat that across the row. Slide the hook through the back side of the stitch and single crochet. In the back side of the stitch and single crochet. In through the back side of the stitch and single crochet. I'm going to finish that across the row, and then I'm going to show you what that looks like. Okay, so now I've worked across the row, and you're not going to see any considerable difference yet, but when I do the next row you'll begin to see the ribbing start forming. So I'm ready to turn, so that means I'm going to chain one and I'm going to turn. So again, I'm going to start working not in the first stitch but the second stitch, and I'm going to work only in the back side of the stitch. So I'm going to single crochet across the row, and then we'll begin to see the ribbing start taking shape. And after several rows you'll really see how the ribbing looks. So just finish across this row, and the last stitch might be a little bit difficult to find. Okay, so now I have this much done of the ribbing. So you can see that the ribbing is starting to take shape because this row is protruding, and then this row right next to it is receding, and so that's going to happen alternately across the work. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a few rows again, and then you definitely will see how the ribbing takes shape. So I'm going to chain one and turn, and I'm going to work across the row, working into the back side of the stitch only. Chain one and turn. Begin working across the row, working in the back side of the stitch only. And I'm just going to show you how that looks, because we're beginning to take on our ribbing look. Okay, so I'm not sure if you can really see how that is turning out, but this row is protruding and this row is recessed, and if you turn it around, the same thing is happening on the opposite side. And that's been brought to you today by allfreecrochet.com. Drop by the site sometime and see all the tips and resources they have for crocheting. Thanks for watching.